Three young Clare acts represented the county at the national finals of the Irish Youth Music Awards, which took place up in Ballymun in Dublin, showcasing everything from indie folk and metal to original singer-songwriter music. It was celebrating emerging young talent from across the country. And joining us now to chat about it, our music coordinator with Clare Youth Service, Sam Lavery, and Eoghan Hayes, an Ennis musician who's been with us and indeed performed with us before and had the honour of emceeing the event. Lads, a very good morning to both of you.
How's it going?
Very, very well. So, Eoghan, talk to us a bit about how the event went. First for yourself, emceeing.
Well, I had a good time anyway. I got a good chance to yell at people, so I'll always take that up. No, but it went well. Your man who was organising it, Shane, was very nice. So it all went kind of smoothly then, you know.
I suppose, you know, when you were asked, I'm sure it's an honour, but were you nervous? And is it a bit, you know, is it different? Because, you know, performing is one thing, you know, having your guitar, which is almost like a barrier between you and the audience. When you're emceeing, it's just you and the mic. Or were you really looking forward to it?
Well, the hardest part was some people had weird names, you know what I mean? That was a weird one. But no, I'd have no problem with talking in front of people. So it was all kind of the same to me.
Sam, just how big a deal are the Irish Youth Music Awards?
Well, I mean, it's a national event that's put on by Youth Work Ireland every year, and it's more of a developmental kind of programme as well as just a music competition. So it promotes young people to play their own music as well as playing covers. So it is a big deal.
And talk to us a bit about the Clare bands who performed.
So we had three acts this year. Generally you'd only have two going, so it was actually great that we were able to get three going. So we had Basilisk, we had Josh Kaman, and we had Fear and Jay. So they're three bands that have been with us for the last 3 or 4 years. So it was very good to see them all get to actually showcase what they've been working on over the last while. So.
Okay, and very different groups. I don't think I'd be too wrong in saying Basilisk. It sounds like they're very much a metal act.
Yeah, they're more of a heavy kind of a group, but they're versatile as well. They can play anything really. So.
And what about Fear and Jay?
So Fear and Jay is more one you can help me here. If I say the wrong genre, I would have said indie, but
Fear and Jay is a bit anything, you know.
It's more indie folk.
A little bit of that.
This is all the trouble, you know, when you come like labelling acts and genres. Some bands acts fall between stools, if you know what I mean.
We've had plenty of bands that would have started out metal and now are singer-songwriters, you know, that kind of way. So.
Oh, that's quite the transformation.
It is, yeah.
And maybe you can talk to us a bit then about Clare Youth Service and being music coordinator, how you give that outlet for, you know, these bands, the Clare bands were playing at the Irish Youth Music Awards, but they need to start somewhere and develop their sound. And in the example you just gave there, massively change their sound and direction.
Yeah, I mean, like anyone that would come to us that's into music or that's looking to get into music, I think I want to be able to talk a little bit about it as well, that it's very kind of community based and people are looking to collaborate with other people. Like we encourage young people to make their own music and like play covers as well, but it's you learn a lot about people and about yourself. If you're having to write music, then you're having to perform it and then you're going recording it, whatever. So that's kind of how the way we run.
Okay, and what did Clare Youth Service do for you, Eoghan? Did you start out as a reggae act and end up going down the singer-songwriter route?
Not quite reggae, but you know, I'd be on my own playing music for a while, but after a while you get kind of bored of doing that and there's just so many people around, so people kind of naturally gravitate towards doing a band and then you kind of get stuck with the same group of people, but it's in a good way. But, you know, it just gives you a good spot to practice and figure out what you want to do and figure out what you like playing, you know. So
okay, the awards themselves, give us an insight into, you know, are there a lot of, how it works? Are there a lot of different categories? You know, is it like provincial best Munster act, best Leinster act, how does it work? Or is it based on genre, best metal act from around the country and so on?
Well, it was less of kind of actually like a competition on the day.
More of a showcase.
More of a showcase, okay. Yeah. So you'd have like Basilisk played, and I think right before them was just two people with guitars, you know, like so you kind of have a bit of anything, you know, but it was more of just showing what Ireland's got for youths, you know, which went quite well.
The competition part of it happened back in February.
Yeah.
So each I think there was 25 different youth services that were taking part. So they would have all had their individual heats in their own areas.
Okay.
Where Shane Gately, who would be the president of it, would have came to each hub. So you had a live selection evening, wee hours in February. So that's when the competition part happened, and then you're able to focus on what you're going to do on the day and showcase what you've been working on.
And for quite a lot of the acts, I would imagine, you know, they've been perform like the trio of Clare acts, they performing and working away in Clare Youth Service, but maybe have only played a few gigs or maybe haven't played a gig at all, and the opportunity to play in the theatre up in Ballymun in front of a significant sized crowd that's a really good opportunity.
Yeah, it's a big step as well in the development, like for as a musician. If you're used to playing in front of your peers, it kind of gets easier. But there's a huge step going up to a different county, and at a national event, and getting on a stage in front of young people you don't know, their parents, their relatives, and the people there. So it's a different ball game altogether. Yeah.
Yeah, and imagine that is exciting. And even just heading across country, going up to the capital, and even for you emceeing it. I don't know, how much prep did that involve? Did you have to read through various band and group performers' bios, or did you literally just get their name and introduce them?
Yeah, they kind of just gave me a sheet of paper about an hour before I went up on stage. But they kind of trusted me enough to let me do whatever, so I wasn't given a script.
Okay.
So
were you improving, throwing in a few jokes?
Trying to anyway. But I had a puppet.
You had a puppet.
I had a puppet for a little bit now.
Tell us more.
I'll have to be honest. It was something I got when I was 10 in Alloway Caves, but
right.
I thought it did quite well. Now it made a funny noise. That's all you needed to do.
Are you kind of like a budding ventriloquist, or?
I would say that, but I'm a bit biased.
Well, you'd say that with others.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Owen could be branching off from music into puppetry before too long.
Yeah, Junior.
Yeah. For people listening who are young people listening who are starting out on the musical journey, Sam, or maybe thinking about getting a group together or whatever it might be, but haven't kind of taken that big step. Finish by telling us a bit about Clare Youth Service and the music side of things, how they can get involved and begin that journey.
So yeah, we've got lots of summer's coming up now. Our summer program will be packed full of different programs. It's all based on the person. Like you might have somebody that's a little bit nervous about going to the youth service, to play music, but your best bet is just to call in, ask for me. Or you could see us on our socials. We'd have lots of things advertised over the summer. We've got, what's the next thing is we have Synergy, which is a festival, a youth festival in Broadford. So that's for young people as well, ran by young people as well. We've got a good music committee there as well. So at the moment it feels like I'm only opening the door and letting them kind of do what they're doing. So
very good. I presumably people can head to your website and they can get details on there about everything that's coming up and how to get involved.
Sure,
okay, brilliant. Well, it's great to hear that there is an outlet for young bands and young performers to start out on that journey and become great musicians that we'll all be listening to further down the road. Thanks so much for coming in. The music coordinator with Clare Youth Service, Sam Lavery, and the Ennis musician and MC at the Irish Youth Music Awards, Eoghan Hayes. Eoghan, thanks very much. Maybe next time you'll bring the puppet in. Do they have a name?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, let's see. We might be on a first name basis with the puppet the next time. Lads, thanks very much for joining us on Wednesday's Morning Focus.